We have a long weekend, apparently.
Hello and welcome to today's video. It is the weekend. I have today and tomorrow off of work, and I thought we could just see how much I can read over the course of 2 days. Not in the way of rushing through the books and trying to read as fast as possible, but just setting aside more intentional time to read because I feel like I haven't been getting in really good reading sessions in, and I want to read a lot this weekend. I'm a little bit behind on my monthly TBR, so that's one of the reasons I want to read a little bit more this weekend. And also, I just got a Kobo as a gift, and I can now read free library books on my e-reader. So I am so excited about that. And so far today, I started the morning with reading a little bit of All the Light We Cannot See. I was on about page 60 and I read to page 100. So I got a little bit of reading in before the gym, and now it is 3 p.m. and I'm about to sit down and get in a nice chunk of reading, maybe for the next hour or so. And I'm really enjoying this book so far. I'm excited to dive into it. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. It is a historical fiction set in World War II, and right now we are following two timelines of two different children. One child who lives in Paris and one that lives in Germany. So I'm excited to get back into the story. I feel like we are just getting started and just getting into the meat of the story, and I hope we get a good dent in today. Good morning. It is the next day now. I ended up reading until page 206, which was a total of 138 pages read yesterday, which I feel like is pretty good. I don't think I would have gotten through that much of this book if I didn't set the intention to read more this weekend. Maybe if it was a different book, but the first half of this book has been so slow. Not in a bad way, but it has just been moving along so incredibly slow. The writing is really incredible, and the way that the author is describing all of the scenes and telling the story is really great, but it's just moving very slow because, like I said, we're following two different timelines, and in each storyline, there's more stories happening, and it's not told where you get a bunch of information at one time about one of the stories. It's like a little tiny tidbit of each storyline, and then we go back to the beginning, and then each storyline. So we have this many storylines, and it's moving inch by inch forward. And I think that for the second half or near to the end, when everything kind of comes together, I think it's going to be extremely powerful because we've been following along these stories for so long and getting just little tiny bits of it at a time. And I'm assuming it's all going to come together and be just extraordinary. But as of now, it's moving slow. But I understand. I respect the craft. I know that it has to be done. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping that I finish the book today. That's kind of my goal, which means I have a lot of work ahead of me, but I'm guessing that the second half will move faster. We've laid so much of the groundwork, and I feel like we've done all of the tedious bits, so I think the second half could move quite a bit faster. All in all, I am really enjoying it so far, though. Like I said, the storytelling is incredible. And I feel like we're also getting some perspectives of the war that we don't normally get, and just the humanness of all of the characters that are involved in this war one way or another. So yeah, gonna keep reading. It is, I don't know, like almost 10 now, and hopefully I can smash out a lot of this book. I'm heading to a coffee shop now to get some reading done. It is actually the next day, so we're on our third day of the weekend. I don't work until 5 p.m. tonight, so I'm kind of just pretending that it's still the weekend. I think it counts. I want to get in like one more reading session in before I say this weekend is over. I got to page 352. So that is a total of So that is a total of 146 pages read yesterday. And I think it was 138 pages on the first day. So we'll see how many I can get on the third day of our weekend. We have a long weekend, apparently. Unfortunately, the weekend is officially over, but I did end up reading 374 pages over the course of, I guess, 2 days and one morning, which I think is It was so slow. It wasn't like I was wanting to binge it and extremely engaged in it. So that was definitely a lot more than I would have read if I wasn't filming this video. So I'm proud of that. I'm very proud of that. And I really want to do this again. I'm not finished this book yet, but I'm almost finished. So I feel like I can give you a little bit of a review, almost my full review. I don't even know where to start. The storytelling, I loved. The actual story and how all of these different characters' lives intertwined and all of the stories went together so well. That I really loved. I thought that was really interesting. There was a few big plot points. We were following this very expensive jewel that was stored in a museum in Paris that one of our main characters' dad worked at. And we're following people trying to find it when they invaded Paris and France in general, and then also a storyline with illegal radios broadcasting stuff during the war. There's lots of stuff going on, and I think all that was done really well, and the way it came together was very, I guess I still have some left, but the way it is currently coming together is very almost heartwarming because of these characters and because we've seen their individual stories and the journeys they've been having. But I'd say one of my biggest problems with this book is I don't feel the emotion from the characters, and I feel like we haven't really gotten to know our characters, like really fleshed them out, especially our side characters. There was a group of women at one point, and we had all their names, but I could not tell them apart. There's quite a few side characters that to me kind of blend together, so the characters aren't super fleshed out, so it doesn't feel as real. And it really is mostly plot, and because of that, I think it'd be a really cool movie, and I'm viewing it kind of as a movie, and I think in that format I might enjoy it more. I just didn't get enough emotion with the characters, and I feel like I don't really know them. Like I didn't really get to know the characters on a very deep level, maybe to the level that you kind of get when you watch a movie, but with a book, that's like one of my favorite parts is you really get in depth with the characters. So probably just a personal preference in the types of books that I like to read, but yeah, I think I'm leaning towards a 3.75. We'll see when I actually finish, but yeah, just quite disconnected from the book and the characters, but I think it would be a good movie. The story's good, the story's there, and I'm glad I'm reading it. That is all for me for today's video. So thank you so much for watching today's video and coming along to see how much I can read in a weekend. I want to do this video again and see, I feel like I can read more depending on the book. Just because I was reading this book, I think I read a little bit less, but I still think it was good. But yeah, thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!